Getting a job in cybersecurity can seem like a daunting task, especially when you have no experience. Today, I have made a list of 9 steps to take when transitioning into cybersecurity and how to get your first job in cybersecurity with little or zero experience. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amin, and today we're going to be talking about what to do, the steps to take when you're trying to transition into cybersecurity. Remember, the last video I made was about transitioning into tech, and I gave a general overview of what you need to do and the steps you need to take. But in this video, I'm talking specifically about cybersecurity. There are going to be subsequent videos where I talk about other fields also, like cloud computing, data analytics, governance, risks and compliance, and a whole lot more. But for today, we're going to be sticking with cybersecurity. Okay, see you soon. Welcome back. So once again, if you're a new subscriber, thank you very much for joining the channel, and if you're a returning subscriber, it's good to see you again. So quick one, if you see me looking down, I'm trying to have a glimpse of what I've jotted down on my iPad. So to get started, what the first thing you need to do when you're trying to transition into security, cybersecurity specifically, is to understand the industry. What do I mean by understanding the industry? Having a career in security in cybersecurity, is not just a straight line kind of approach that you'll be given to it, because cybersecurity on its own is a very wild field. So you have to understand the industry and know what part of that field you want to go into. For example, you could decide to start in as a security operations analyst. You could also decide to go in as a penetration tester. You could decide to go in as a whole lot of other stuff in cybersecurity. So now, understanding what you want to do, understanding what role you want to get into would be the first thing for you to do. So today, for the example, I'll be working with someone who's decided to be a security analyst, and I plan to make another video where I talk about what all of these kind of job roles entail, what they do day to day, and maybe if I get someone who is interested, I could do a day in the life of a security analyst, a penetration tester, and a whole lot more. So yeah, researching the industry is a very important thing. You need to understand the job titles, the job skills required in that title, in that job niche, and a whole lot of other stuff like the duties you're going to be doing as a day-to-day. So noting it down, the first thing you need to do is to research the industry. And what I mean by that is understand the job title you're going to be looking out for, the skill you require to excel in that field, and by doing your research, you will be able to get all of this information. So like I said, I'll be using a SOC analyst for today's example. Now, the next thing you need to do is to gain the foundational knowledge. This might seem to be a no-brainer, but trust me, this is where a lot of people get it wrong when trying to transition into tech or cybersecurity in general. I've noticed this a lot when people come in and they talk to someone already in tech, maybe for the last 5 years, and the person gives them materials about what they are currently working on. So for example, if you come to someone and you say, I'd like to be a security operations analyst, and the next thing they tell you is, okay, take this course on security plus on CompTIA, right? So the problem with this is you don't have the foundation knowledge. So this person has been working in this role maybe for the last 5 years. There are some knowledge, there are some things they've learned over and over the journey in the last 5 years. For example, if you're coming in to learn security plus, CompTIA would assume you already have some knowledge, right? They would assume probably you know things about IP addressing, you know stuff about subnetting, subnet max, variable length subnet maxing, you already know how to the classes of IP and stuff like that. But unfortunately, you're coming from a totally new background. You have absolutely no idea what these things mean. So that is why it is very important that before you even go into any field at all, whether it's a penetration testing role, whether it's a security analyst role, you need to get the foundation knowledge. And what is the best way for you to get this foundation knowledge? I always recommend to people to start with the CompTIA Network Plus or the CompTIA CompTIA A Plus. The A Plus will teach you basic. If you are absolutely new to tech, right, you have zero knowledge. When I say zero, I mean you know nothing about technology. You don't even know what a RAM is, what a motherboard is, and stuff like that. I would recommend you start with the CompTIA A+. The A+ would give you a foundational knowledge to computing generally, information technology, right? But if you already, maybe you're a very good person with the computer, you know your way around computers, right? You know a lot of stuff about computer, even though you've never been in any kind of tech role, then I would suggest you start with the CompTIA Network Plus. The CompTIA Network Plus is a little bit more advanced than the CompTIA A Plus, so it will teach you stuff about networking. You will know what the router is, what the switch is, what the port is. So because these are the things you'll be dealing with a whole lot when you're working as a security analyst, and you don't want to take a course as a security analyst when you don't have this foundational knowledge. It's going to be a very tough one for you without those foundation knowledge. So yeah, like I said, if you're an absolute beginner, go for CompTIA A Plus. But if you are already conversant with computer, you have good understanding, you know your way around computers, even though you've not worked, you've not done any career sort of in computing, then you could go for CompTIA Network Plus. If I get the link to these courses, I know there are pretty good courses on Udemy. I would put the link in the description box, but then it's something you could just Google search on your own and put them in there. So the next thing you need to do now is to build a portfolio. Building a portfolio basically means you need to start getting those skills and be able to show them. So remember, there's a video I made when I talked about getting your first cybersecurity certification in 2 days. A whole lot of people did it, while some people thought it wasn't possible. Over 6, 7, 8 people sent me messages on Twitter and Instagram showing me their certificate. That was their first certification, and it was a really good thing knowing that people took the advice and they worked on it and implemented it, and now they have a certification to add to their resume. So yeah, if you've not seen that video, hopefully I'll be able to link it somewhere there, and you can also start with that to have something to put into your portfolio and your CV. So you have to build a portfolio and also participate in free online challenges. There are lots of them. So these are the things that would help you build experience. Remember, you probably have no experience at all, and you need to put something in your CV. So when you go to sites like Hack the Box or Try Hack Me, where there are challenges you need to take, and when you take these challenges, you get rewarded for taking those challenges if you are able to complete the tasks given to you. All of these are the things you're going to put in your experience. For example, if you're going to become a penetration tester and you've taken some challenges on Hack the Box or Try Hack Me, and you're able to get into a system, you're able to get shell into a system, or break a system and stuff like that. Those are the things you are going to put as your experience in your resume, as real hands-on experience that you've done. So that is the second thing you need to do. You need to build your portfolio. That's getting the right skill, getting the knowledge required in that for you to excel in that field, and putting them all together so you could have something in your resume. Now the next thing you need to do is to network and get an internship. This cannot be overemphasized. Remember, in my last video I talked about the importance of networking. Networking would save you a whole lot of stress, right? The things you have to start struggling to understand how to go about. If you have someone who is already there is no point you going through all of those stress again, right? So networking is very, very good, especially when you already have someone who is in that field you're willing to get into. A lot of people talk to me about these things. I can't answer everything because I don't do everything. I can only tell them about the things I do. So talk to someone who is already doing what you want to do, right? And they'll be able to give you like real first-hand knowledge and real first-hand information about what you need to do and what's going to help you in the long run. So the next thing you should try to do is to get internships. This can be hard sometimes, but if you have, like I mentioned in the previous step, by gaining foundational knowledge and also building a good portfolio by learning the right skill and knowledge for that role, you will be able to get internship opportunities. There are lots of internship opportunities, full remote internship opportunities in the US, the UK, and across Europe. Even in Africa, there are lots of opportunities you would get. But what they always look out for is they always want to look out for someone who is already showing the zeal to learn. So if you are able to show the things you've done within a short period of time and put in a good application, you would most likely be able to get an internship role. Now, once you get an internship role, the next thing you need to do is to continue learning and growing, because with tech, or with cybersecurity, and I think with almost every career out there, well, I'm very sure with tech and security in particular, you don't stop learning, because the moment you snooze, you lose, because things are changing like real fast. If you learn something today, 2 months later, there might be a new technology, something might have gone obsolete, and you don't want to keep in old information in your head. So you have to keep learning, you have to keep growing to stay up to date in the field. And a very good way to also do this is now to start attempting certification exams. Certifications are very important. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise and tell you certifications don't mean anything. They actually mean a lot, and they would help you in the long run. There is no way. I always tell people, when they tell you just have the knowledge, certifications are not important. No one would. There are lots of applications you would make. You don't get to speak to your recruiter in the first time, the second time. Your CV speaks for you. So you have to make your CV as attractive as possible. So when they see you have the kind of certifications they are looking out for, you probably then get to the opportunity of expressing what you have inside you, and you can even talk more. So when you don't have anything to make your CV stand out, you probably won't even get to that position where you can now tell them what you've made, what you have inside, and what you can do. So it's very important to keep learning and growing, get as much knowledge as you can, try to attempt a lot of certification exams that are recognizable or that are very key to your role, to the role you're aspiring to go for. And then the next thing you should try to do is to consider specializing. So while you've been acquiring a lot of knowledge, building up to this point, it is very good to know at an early stage what you want to focus on. This is something a lot of us have to deal with the harsh way, but overall, it is very key that you consider specializing and know what you likely want to settle for. So for example, do you want to settle for application security? Do you want to be a senior SOC analyst? Do you want to be a senior penetration tester? Do you just want to focus on penetration testing? Now, even when focusing on penetration testing, you could decide to be a full-time network penetration tester. You could also decide to be an application penetration tester. So these things are very wide and very big. So it's up to you to decide which one you want to specialize in, so that you can now focus all your energy inside in that niche. It's very good to have an idea of everything. Try to be a generalist as much as possible, but you should also be a specialist in something. So you know that if we need to talk to someone about this thing, this is the person to go to, even though you could talk about other stuff. So yeah, consider specializing. And now once you do that, now you start looking for entry-level roles in that specialty you're looking at. So when you've decided you want to be a penetration tester, you've done an internship in cybersecurity, and you already have an idea of what they do in network security, what they do in security operations, what they do in governance, risks, and compliance. Now you've decided, I want to be a penetration tester. I want to be with the red team, and I want to go join the offensive team, right? So now you've decided to specialize. You're now looking for entry-level roles that is specific to that niche you decided to go into. Now start looking for roles in that field, and look out on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very, very, very helpful. If your LinkedIn, like I used to say, if you present your LinkedIn very well, recruiters will be the one running after you, especially when they see that you have this skill set that they're looking out for. So make sure your LinkedIn is well optimized. It is very good, and you should start getting messages and calls from recruiters. Now, when you start looking for entry level role, you need to tailor. Obviously, this is a no-brainer. Like I said earlier, you need to make sure your CV, your resume, your cover letter are all in very good shape, because this is the first thing that is going to speak for you in front of any recruiter. So make sure your CV is well optimized, your cover letter is good. Like I mentioned before in my previous video, I help people with creating standard CV for roles in tech generally, cybersecurity specifically. It is for a fee, it is not free, but I try my best to create very good CV using very good templates that would help you in getting your dream job. So yeah, once you create your CV, you have a good cover letter, your LinkedIn is banging, and everything is well set, you start preparing for job interview, because this is another very key aspect. You might have put in all this effort, put in all this work, but then you need to land that first gig, that first full-time role, right? And you need to prepare for the interview. and look out online for common interview question in that role. Check if you have a specific organization you're looking out for. If you go to Glassdoor, you could see people that have interviewed with that organization, what the experience was like, the kind of things to look out for. And yeah, you suggest practicing. You should practice some interview questions. Have a mock interview section with your mentor, with your friend, anyone who is going to help you and give you good feedback about how you've performed. Yeah, so once you do this, I think with obviously with a little bit of luck, yeah, like I always say, so because to be honest, there's always preparation. Luck, when you're prepared for something, there's always a little element of luck that comes with everything. And yeah, you should be able to land your dream job as a cybersecurity entry-level role, whether in the penetration testing niche or security operations center, or governance, risks and compliance, or in application security, cloud security, or whatever it is you've decided to go for. So I think that's it for this video. But before we round up, I'm going to give a quick recap so you could have an understanding of everything we've talked about from the beginning. So like I said, the first thing you need to do when starting an entry level without any experience, if you're trying to get your first full-time job in security, the first thing you need to do is to research the industry, know where you want to go into, know the kind of roles you're looking out that you should be looking out for, know what cybersecurity is all about. Then once you do that, try to get foundational knowledge. Is very important. Like I mentioned before, if you have absolutely no experience or absolutely no knowledge in tech at all, consider starting with CompTIA A+. CompTIA A+ will give you the foundation of IT. But if you do have some good understanding of tech and you know your way around computers very well, then you should consider starting with CompTIA Network Plus. Networking is very important in this field. You don't want to start your first job and someone is talking to you about a certain port and you don't have an idea what they're talking about, or a class of IP address or the subnet max. So yeah, these are the things you need to work on. Gaining foundation knowledge will help you with that. CompTIA Network Plus, CompTIA Network Plus, and CompTIA A Plus, or even the Cisco CCNA. These are things that will give you that foundational knowledge in networking that are very important. Now you need to build your portfolio to showcase your skills and achievements. And furthermore, you should also network and try to get an internship, which is another very key point. Once you've done this, you need to ensure that you keep learning, keep growing. It is a continuous learning system. You don't stop learning at any point because you need to stay up to date. And also you should also consider specializing. You must, at this point, you should have a full understanding of what the whole system is all about. So you should consider specializing and know what you want to go into. Then start looking for your entry-level role on your LinkedIn. Look out on Indeed, where jobs are posted regularly. Tailor your resume to the job you're looking out for. This is another mistake a lot of people make. You don't use a single CV to apply for 10-15 jobs. It might seem like a stressful thing to do, but to be honest, trust me, if you tailor your CV for every application you're making, your chances are going to be way higher than someone who uses the same CV for every job application. So you're going to have one standard CV, right? Then once you see a job you're interested in, you're just going to tailor that particular CV to meet that role, right? So because you need to start laying emphasis on the kind of skills they're looking out for, the keywords that you've seen in the job description are the things you want your CV to be shouting when anyone takes a look at the CV. Yeah, so finally you prepare for the job interview, and like I said, with a little bit of luck and prayer, you should be able to land your first full-time security gig. And yeah, that's basically what we've talked about in the video. Thank you very much once again for joining. If you're a first-time viewer, like I mentioned earlier, please don't forget to subscribe. If you're a returning viewer, good to see you as always. And I've got a couple of other videos on the platform you want to check out, talking about for example, I have one about how I got my first job in the UK from Nigeria. I have another one about how you can earn your first security certification in 2 days, and a lot of other videos up there. So yeah, just take your time around the channel, and a lot of other new videos are going to be coming very soon. And I hope to see you in the nearest future. Thank you very much once again, and bye for now. Have a good one. Cheers, guys.